Oh,
All
wait, let me
right.
turn my light on.
Okay, we are live.
Oh, shit.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
my
So
flashlight, I turned it on blink load instead.
that's okay. That's okay. So today, everyone, today we're talking about Kali Ma. Kali. Actually, I shouldn't be starting it. So Susanna, you should be starting it. Hold on, let's focus on it.
Hi. Welcome to Atheist Republic Discussions. Today we have two special guests. We have Arjun, this way, and we have Hindu historian. And we're given the controversy and the shitstorm that we have unleashed on the world. I thought it would be fun to actually talk about the mythology and the legend of Kali, because here at Atheist Republic, we love mythology and we think it's valuable to study and incredibly interesting and important to keep, right? We want to keep the mythology, just not the belief. And so we brought two people who wanted to talk to us about that mythology. Especially to a Western audience who may not understand some of the symbolism, the origin, and I think understanding these things will also help a wider community understand the reactivity to what we did. So that's what we're in store for today. So yeah.
Let's just get started
Yes.
with the story.
Yes.
I want to know about Kelly.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think one of the first things, obviously, to start with is her name, because that's significant as well. The name Kali, it could mean black, but the literal etymology in this case is actually time, and it's the same as the famous Bhagavad Gita verse 1132. I have become time, destroyer of worlds. That's often mistranslated as death, by the way, such as when Robert Oppenheimer quoted the verse after that atomic bomb development. But time, like, it refers to the inevitability of death. No one can avoid death. No one can avoid the end times, right?
So when she's saying I'm the destroyer of worlds.
What I was saying is that's the same word. Same word. I am time, destroyer of words. Kali. Yes, Arjun.
To clarify,
Mm-hmm.
so in Sanskrit there's long vowels and short vowels. So the time one is short vowels, Kali, or sorry, you can correct my pronunciation. So that's Kali, or like Kali Yuga, for example, right? And this is Kali, so it's long vowels, but it's the same etymology.
Yes.
From what I understand. So the one in the Bhagavad Gita is Kali, like Kali Yuga, and this is Kali. So it's just related. Only the words are related. They're not actually.
That's
like
right. That's right. I was just bringing that up to show, like, that's like where it comes from. Yeah. So basically, she is the one of the ways you can think of Shakti, which is like which is cosmic energy that always has a feminine representation within Hinduism. You see that portrait back there? That's Durga. That's another possible way of thinking about Shakti. That's the demon fighting form of Shiva's wife Parvati. To be clear, now I feel like if I don't go into like the concept of how Hindu gods can have such bizarre forms and stuff, then the audience wouldn't understand.
Okay, that sounds good. But before we go into how they can have such, interesting forms, can we talk about who's Kelly and where she's, like, her life story, like where did she grew up, what's her favorite color, and, like, I don't know, like, they'll go into, like, how did she end up, like, being who she is like, can we do that?
Oh yeah, well there are. Well, Arjun, you first. Sorry.
Oh no, I just want a division of labor. So can you handle the myth side, and I'll handle like the historical side, like who worship, like the cult. There was a cult of Kali, and it came from like certain people who worshipped her, and then it became mainstream. So it wasn't always mainstream. By the way, this is how many Indian gods are. They used to be worshipped by a particular profession or something, like like Catholic saints. They used to be worshipped by a particular community or something, or some particular profession, and then exactly, Susanna. And then they'd spread out into the wide
one thing I would
wider society.
Yeah, one thing I would say about that though is that that sort of thing where you take a god that was obscure or not well worshipped and becomes like mainstream. That actually works within Hindu theology. So it's not like a contradiction.
Right.
Yeah.
But can we actually go to her story? Like tell her everybody what her story. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So part of my job is going to be asking obviously dumb questions for other people who have no basis of knowledge, right? That's kind of the role that I'm playing. So I heard that she came from Durga's forehead in a fit of rage.
Right, yes, from her third eye. That's right. While she was battling this demon, her rage manifested out of her third eye and manifested as the form of Kali, and Kali slew the demons and went on a rampage and yes.
So Durga is another goddess.
Yes.
And Kali came from Durga.
That's right.
Okay.
Hinduism, the Hindu deities, very few of them actually have like childhood upbringings. Those would be more the avatars that take human form, like Krishna, Rama, and whatnot. Yeah.
So I really want us to tell a story first before we talk about anything else. Can we actually tell the story? So this is Durga, right?
Yes.
So what was Durga doing that ended up all of a sudden she gave birth to Kali while in the middle of a battle? Is that what you're saying? What battle is this? Why was she fighting? And how did that end up in Kali being born out of it?
Okay, so Durga was fighting the demon Mahishasura, and wait once.
Is that the demon right here?
That's right. Oh wait, no, sorry. Arjun, I think wants to.
Arjun,
no, I was just confirming.
Oh yeah, okay. And Durga is always with a lion, right? Why was she?
She's in my room. She's riding a tiger, as you can see. But
Oh, in your room. Hold on, let me see.
Ancient Hindus can't tell the difference. No, just kidding.
Oh, they couldn't tell the difference between tigers and lions.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
Okay, so why was she fighting this demon, and how did that end up? Why and how ended up that being the birth of
the
Kali?
Asuras are from the Vedic era. The Asuras are understood to be in conflict with the Devas or the Vedic deities, and this sort of conflict continues into Puranic literature, especially in this story. The Asuras, actually, you would know in Iranian mythology, the Asuras are seen as positive, right? But
go on.
Yeah. So the Asuras and Devas are in a war. They're perpetually in conflict, and while Durga is taking part in this battle with Mahishasura, she is just like there's.
Look, I have a picture here.
Yeah.
Look, we have Durga here. Oh, hold on. We have Durga. Yeah.
So while we're looking up images about the Asuras and
can I? Okay, so this is Durga with her lion, and this is Kali, right? With she always has heads around her and a necklace of heads around her.
Yes.
And you can see that.
Or in general, look, there's arms and stuff as well.
Arms and stuff as well.
Yeah, but skirt made of arms and look at her. Does she have the earring? No, she doesn't. Okay.
And look, like Kali came from the eye of Durga, right? Is that what they're supposed to? And this right. And Shiva is here. And what's the
third
relation?
eye? It's a fancy eye. The third eye.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's it? Okay, first of all, does that make Durga Kali's mom or the same person, or they're?
Well, no. She's the same form. She's also Shakti, like which Durga is, which Parvati is, which Saraswati is. So it's like it's another entity with the same.
It's like cloning. It's like cloning. She cloned herself.
It would be like for a well, not exactly the same thing as the Trinity, no, but it would be like the same divine essence at the end of the day. That's what it is. It's also Shakti, or the feminine form of energy, according to Hindu thought.
And why does she always have these heads and arms around her?
Okay, those heads are the heads of demons she has slain. Sometimes they're portrayed as just a skull, such as in your famous photo. She wears them to symbolize the. Well,
did she behead those people?
Yes, that's right. That's right. She beheaded. That's her rampage, slaying demons after she was manifested by Durga. That's right.
Okay, but this picture doesn't make any sense because this is her birth. She's born here, and she already has beheaded people around her neck. Like, when did she get a chance to behead these people?
I don't think
Like,
the picture is like. Well,
okay.
I mean, that picture is sort of the abridged story, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay, why does she keep beheading people? And why are the heads so small compared? Why are the heads so small compared to her head? Is it because she's like bigger?
Yeah. Well, yes. And by the way, those aren't people she's beheading. She has only ever slain demons in
Oh.
Yeah. So those are demon heads.
Hey,
yes.
this is racism. So it's okay, huh? It's okay because they're just demons, huh? This is speciesism. Okay, like, hey, it's okay. It's not. Yeah. But why is she beheading them, and why are there so tiny hands all the time?
Well, she is larger than them.
Larger than them?
Yeah.
Wait, is she larger? Is she larger than compared to us?
Yes, obviously.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Hey, you're not into big girls, Armin?
No. No.
The mechanics kind of don't work at that size differential.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So do the demons represent like Dalits or tribal people in any way? Or is it more diffuse and spiritual?
I have to warn you, that's a very sore point when you're debating with Hindus. Like, that's the Aryan invasion theory. And we, to this day, Hindus are saying either that the whole Indo-European language family came out of India, and if that's the case, then there wouldn't have been this like sharp distinction between two races. I don't think any of Hindu literature, especially the later age, refers to any sort of conflict between. I don't think so at all. No,
okay.
It's just these demons represent. Yeah, Arjun. Yes.
Oh, well, so in the Rig Veda, you have the idea of the Arya, which are the noble people, and then you have the Dasyu, or the Dasus,
yes,
which are the native people of India. And they're the ones they conquered. And they had an ancient ritual where they sent a horse to graze, and then the horse would go around. And wherever the horse went, an army would follow it, and that's all their land now. So that's like the myth of the conquest of India by the Aryan people.
There is apologetics about
or the Indo-Aryan, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's apologetics. What? Sorry.
About whether or not the Aryan invasion theory is actually true. Either way, like it's possible that the Aryans migrated to India and there was no like big invasion or anything. It's also possible that the Aryans are indigenous to India, but that requires more assumptions than the migration. Okay. So Conrad Else did write a pretty good defense of India being the Indo-European homeland.
But let's get back to Kali. Why are we talking invasion?
Sorry, where were we?
Okay.
We were talking about her necklace of heads and...
Yeah. So does her birth being like, okay? So Kali represents time, right? What does Durga represent?
Well, Durga, I would say, represents like she's also a form of Shakti, which is the same divine energy as Kali, she's the warrior form of Shiva's wife Parvati. She represents the side of good and like the intellectual war against bad or against evil against.
Wait, intellectual? Did you just say?
Well, I mean, like not like she doesn't. It's not a physical war. She represents like the side of good in the war against like good.
But don't they all just represent the side of good versus evil? Like, is that something unique about them?
This is specifically like in a like combating sense.
Okay, so wait, so she's like, so Durga Ma, she's like a warrior, like she like fights against evil, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So why did she? What? Yeah, she's a badass, right? But again, she seems to be like playing with some of her hands. She doesn't use all of them in battle. Like every time I see her fighting, there's just one hand like doing with a fidget spinner, like doing like this all the time, and she's not like using it. She's like, yeah, I could do. I have so many arms, I don't even need to use them all. Like when I'm fighting, right? So why did she clone herself? Like, what was the reason why she made Kali?
It wasn't really a reason. She was so furious while she was fighting the demon Mahishasura that her anger exploded out of her third eye and manifested as the form of Kali.
That's what I'm talking about. That's so cool.
No, it's like the Super Saiyan. It's like a Super Saiyan for Hindu goddesses.
That's so badass. Oh my god.
So wait, so because she was enraged and then she gave birth to Kali, does that mean that Kali is full of rage? Is that why she's beheading people? Okay.
Well, she's full of rage against when she's manifested, yes, she's full of rage against the demons. That's right, yes.
Right.
And then my understanding is that kind of further in the story, and correct me if I'm skipping anything, basically she accidentally beheads Shiva, and that's when she comes to her senses.
Oh, that's actually, if you look at the pictures of her, like, with her tongue lolling, that's actually, she's standing on Shiva, and that's because she bit her tongue, and because she was embarrassed that she stepped on her husband's chest. That's what the story is.
Wait, say that. Okay, wait. Can you say that? Actually, can I? So what did she do? So that person that she's standing on top of in every picture, that's Shiva?
It's her husband.
Yeah.
Shiva.
Yeah.
Her husband Shiva?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, Kelly, I didn't know that. Like, what the hell? I thought Shiva was like too powerful to mess with like that. And Kelly like did this to her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How?
Well, no, he did that. He lay down on purpose. He wanted her to stand on him to calm her down. That's the story. Like, he did that. And she bits her tongue because she's like, "Oh shit, I just stepped on my husband." Yeah, that's what it is. So
that's why it's bleeding out of her mouth because she bit her tongue.
Yeah, well, it's lolling over. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so how is Kali Shiva's husband? Given that, so because Durga was Shiva's husband, and she just de facto ends up being Shiva's husband because of
another manifestation of. Well, I would say
they don't have to remarry. They could just like, I'm already married to you because I'm the clone of that other lady.
Notice that while we're speaking about gods being husbands and wives, that should immediately tell you that these stories are just mythology, because marriage is a legal concept. So, like, do gods apply for a marriage license? Do they register for gifts and stuff, right? Like, so it would be like Shiva and Shakti being married is sort of a metaphor for consciousness and for divine consciousness and divine energy. And Durga is a form of Shakti. Kali is a form of Shakti. That's what it is. So when they say they're married, that's what we're saying is they can't be separated from each other ideologically. That's what it is. So these arts are just ways of representing that metaphorically.
So this is Shiva, just like she like, okay, so basically you're saying Kali was like so full on rage, right? And Shiva was like, hey, I'm gonna lie on the floor and you can step on me so I can make you calm down. Is that the story?
Yeah,
you could like step on me. Sorry,
he did that he lay down on purpose, knowing he would step on her. That's what happened.
Oh, knowing she would step on her. How did he know that?
Well, because she was going on a rampage, slaying demons, and he couldn't like soothe her from her bloodlust unless he like disrupted her directly. That's what it is. So.
And what does this symbolize? What does Shiva like? Okay, so Kali was going on a rampage, and why did Shiva want to stop her? And why did he know? Like, how did Kali stepping on Shiva? How would that soothe her?
Well, it would be like, okay, that would disrupt her. She would see, oh shit, I stepped on my husband. Crap. Now
this is too like it's like we've gone too far. Basically, this is what Kali would think, right? Like, oh my god, this is like, what am I doing? Like, this is wait. So you're saying that she thinks that beheading a whole bunch of people was not far enough, but putting your foot on your husband, that's going too far? Oh, maybe because Shiva is so important, right? That's why it's too far?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and I mean, like, if you were a warrior woman just slaying all your enemies, would you count your husband, like, and you ran into your husband and accidentally bumped into him, you would stop there.
Is this supposed to show how, like, humble and how, like, Shiva is? Like, this person that is so great, like, he's, like, you know, putting himself in a position for his wife to come and step out. Like, is this supposed to be like a great moment for Shiva, for people to admire?
That's one way of interpreting it. Yes. Yep. That is.
Arjun?
No, I think Shiva is kind of like a scapegoat anyway, because there's a story with an incarnation of Vishnu. So Vishnu is a male god, but he incarnated the female god Mohini, and Shiva was like just wanted, well, honestly wanted to, you know, her, and he ran after her and ran after her and ran after her.
Wait, really? Shiva wanted to R Kali?
Mohini was a certain incarnation of Vishnu. So Shiva is like like a bad god, and not a bad god, but he's like not a trustworthy god in general. He does these kinds of things, so he's not like a righteous god like Vishnu. It's like Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, you have Zeus, who's always like, you know, always keeping justice, and then the other gods are like just whimsical and they do weird things. But Zeus keeps justice.
So who was doing the R thingy? Shiva, right? This guy?
No, not in this story. Sorry, that's a different story. I'm just giving you an example of a different, like Shiva's character in general.
Okay, okay, but in this story he's being so decent, he's trying to do the good thing, but you're saying in other stories he was going to R. By the way, for people who don't know, the R word is this thing that we can't
say it on YouTube.
We can't say that. I mean, we can, but it will just destroy
involuntary intercourse.
Okay, yes, involuntary.
That's one way of putting it.
Arjun, Krishna was an avatar of Vishnu too, and he was quite a womanizer as well, if you recall those.
Why are these gods cloning each other? Makes things complicated.
To be fair, Zeus turns into all kinds of things to sleep with different women, right? So it's not just Hinduism. To be fair.
Yeah, but he doesn't turn into other gods. Is it like is it like a cloning tree that we could like graphics of like guy come from this god and this guy from?
There is an image of like the Hindu. I saw it a while ago. I could look that up.
Let me see Hindu.
And technically, I mean, I guess the Trinity is a version of that, like God the Father cloning into God the Son and the Holy Ghost. But it depends on which heresy. It's which heresy you believe.
But it's very simple. You have Mary, you have Jesus, and you have Yahweh, right? So, but it's like that's it, right? But this is like I'm copy this, like
I know.
The copy paste thing, like
it's much more primitive than Christianity.
It's actually more interesting, but it's also more complicated. But here's the thing. Okay, so here's what I don't understand.
There's no Occam's razor.
So which are these canon? Like if it is the Shiva that was lying down and Kali step on him? Is that the same Shiva that went and tried to do the big R?
Is it the same extended? Is it the same extended universe? Is it?
Is it the same extended universe?
Yes, essentially, I think.
In order to go into like how these like different stories can coexist together, I think you need to learn like we need to explain what the Puranas are and what their position is in Hinduism. Like they're explicitly understood to be mythology. They're not. Yeah. So,
okay, can you do a concise version of that?
Okay. Of what, the Puranas?
Yeah. What is that? What is the Purana? Tell us what the Purana.
Okay, so I have actually from Krishna, a source book by Professor Edwin Bryan, Sanskrit, Rutgers University, footnote number 27 of the introduction section. The Puranas are a fluid body of literature that went on transforming along the centuries through the process of transmission and adaptation. There is abundant evidence for this. There are differences in language between different sections of the text. While there are early references to archaic Vedic narratives, some of the stories in the text are manifestly late and deal with incidents occurring in later historical times. Some of them cast as prophetic, different, and sometimes inconsistent doctrines, sometimes coexist in the same Purana. Sometimes the same story is repeated in different places in the same text, and the very fact that many Puranas refer to the 18 Puranas indicates that such references must have been inserted after the 18 Puranas had already been divided. So, and they
Can you give us a concise explanation of that? What does that mean?
Okay, so they're so you remember me saying that these gods they're just like abstract metaphors and ways of thinking about God. So what the Puranas are, like, for me, I use they're sort of like a stock image, it's like stock photo or like a stock mythology to help you think of God. That's what they are, really. And they're from a certain time and place. Arjun, maybe you can articulate it better. I think.
See, for that you have to. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. So for that, the problem with that is when you talk about them being images for God, that's being anachronistic, because if you go back to the Vedas, for example, which are still revered indirectly at least, they literally believe that they're different gods and they're in conflict and so on. So there's the creation story, for example, is Now you haven't heard of these gods because Hindus don't worship them anymore, but there was a certain god called Vritra, that was holding creation like hostage, and then Indra came and he took a drug. Actually, he took a drug called Soma, and that gave him the courage to fight this other god Vritra, and that's how creation happened. So it's not like the Hindus are that abstract and they're so sophisticated that they believe these gods are just representations. They just like the Greeks and just like every other primitive people, ancient people, to be less derogatory, ancient people, they believe that there were literal humanoid divine
Really,
creatures.
they actually believe that these are real figure, like
At some point,
physically.
at least, like, there's different points. You have to talk about different points in history and different that's the point I made before the stream about the Kama Sutra. Like, there's different thinkers, there's different points, but then we also have to talk about trends and majorities and like the thing as a whole.
So basically, if that's true, like, okay, so is it okay? Which one of these is it? Is it that the people who wrote these stories were like there was no great wisdom behind it? They just literally thought that these are. So they literally thought like, hey, here's the creation story, okay? And there's not that deep philosophy behind it. These are just interesting stories and ways to explain where the universe came from. And then maybe later people kept on adding symbolism and meaning to them, and it became deeper and more nuanced and more interesting. And some people wanted to like explain philosophical concepts using the symbolism of these gods, and that's how it got more interesting. Or it's the other way around. Is that no, they started as deep philosophical explanations of things that and then some people took it literally. Is which way? Yeah. Yeah, go on, Arjun.
Okay. So unfortunately, I think it's not that simple because I think the Vedas were more or less literal, and then in the middle they had a philosophical tradition that made it all more figurative. But then by the Middle Ages, the European Middle Ages, it again became really literal, and people became really superstitious, and all of this, like all the philosophy kind of like ended, and everyone became really literal and superstitious. That's my understanding, and I don't blame it on Islam, by the way. I won't blame it on Islam like everybody else.
I didn't blame it on it.
No, because you could blame it on Islam if you want to give them.
I only blamed one small part of all of this on Islam. But go on, Hindu historian.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So yes, it's true that the Samhitas, which is the layer of the Vedas that are the hymns of praise and poetry, they do represent a very this worldly religion. They're like physical gods on this plane, and then as you go on to the later layers of the Vedas, the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, the Upanishads, it becomes more and more philosophical, high level, and like the Brahman.
But then it goes back, right? It goes back, in the Puranas. People literally believe the Puranas are true, right? So it goes back into literalism. So it's not like Indian civilization didn't progress. Like it progressed and it went back to superstition, and then. And now it's still in I believe we're still in the they're still superstitious. That's what I think.
Well, yeah, I would. Okay, yes, but what the Puranas are, they are. Yes, it's true that many Hindus did take them seriously. Many Hindus today do take them seriously, but they fall under the category of scripture that's called Smriti, which is specifically understood not to be divine revelation, but an embellishment on it by human hands. So
I mean, that's the same as saying that everybody in India shares like every Christian shares the perspective of Jordan Peterson. In my opinion, like the people who wrote the Upanishads were like the ancient Jordan Petersons of India, and then when they started writing the Puranas, they became like the normal Christians. That's my view. Now it is controversial, so I don't want to just assert this. I want Hindus to, of course, push back on this if we can get into this. Otherwise, we can go back to Kali.
Ethan in the live chat is saying, I really hope future people don't think we all thought that the X-Men were real. Maybe this is all a misunderstanding. Maybe like if the people back, maybe if the founders of Hinduism came back like now today, like looked at Hindus today, they were like, what guys, this was just our entertainment. Why you guys, it's not that deep, guys. It's not that deep. This was just us having fun with like stories. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, obviously, since I am a theistic practicing Hindu, I do believe that the deities are valid ways of thinking about God. I don't believe that there's literally a God that has the head of an elephant or that has 6 arms. Like I said, I think they're just valid metaphorical ways of thinking about the ultimate reality. So yeah.
Let me show you. Let me show you this. This is like
Jordan Peterson. I'm sorry.
Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Mahavishnu.
Okay, who's this? This seems
That's
like
Krishna.
to be the. Seems to be like the evolution.
That's Krishna.
That's
The
Krishna.
evolution.
No, that's not evolution, because that's Krishna, and then the next one is Mahavishnu, who Krishna is an
Right.
avatar. So Krishna
And the
is
next one is
Vishnu
Narayana. I
Wait,
believe.
sorry.
The next
What's
one's
the
Narayana,
relation?
right?
This is Vishnu. This is Krishna. This is how it started, right? And then it ended up into all of these other.
No.
Oh, wait, let's wait. So when I don't know what I'm looking at, but to me it seems like this seems like to be the storyline of where the sources of all these gods are, right? So,
okay, that's a particular. Sorry, that's a particular view. I think you're looking at like maybe Gaudiya Vaishnava. In fact, I used to be a Gaudiya Vaishnava, so this actually agrees with my former theology.
Okay, so this is Krishna?
This is not the most common view. This is not the most common view, but actually it happens to be the view I used to hold as a Hindu.
Okay, well let's just look at one of these views just to show like how it works. So this is Krishna, and then it ends. Who's this second guy?
Vishnu, and so he is the one that from whom the universes expand. So there's many universes.
So it started with Krishna, though, right?
In one view, right? In my former view.
Okay, and then Vishnu, and that was who's the third situation here?
Narayana.
So
he's also a form of Vishnu, actually. So I don't know what there's no great distinction between him and Vishnu. But as you can see, there's a lady, there's a woman in that picture. So she has a consort. He has a consort. That's Brahma.
Oh yeah, Brahma.
The creator. So there's a creator, and then there's another creator. That's the
where is Kali in all of this?
she's not metaphysically important. Like she's not important in the sort of genealogy of the universe.
Don't talk about Kali like that. What the hell?
No, let me explain. So it's a bit like Kronos. You know the Titan Kronos. Yeah. Is Kronos the Titan, by the way? Sorry, Kronos creates Uranos. Uranos, you know the sky god in Greece, creates Kronos, and Kronos creates Zeus. But then Kali is nowhere in this. Kali is like just a god, just an ordinary god, goddess.
Just a god. Okay.
Like there's more important ones. So this is why I wanted to say something about the Asuras. So the Asuras are like the Hindu Titans, not Titans like Teen Titans or something, or like Titans like they were the old gods and then they became bad. They became like the defeated gods by the Suras. The Suras are the Zeus generation of gods.
That's right.
By the way, we got the super chat 50 Denmark currency. Maybe
Danish
krone. I can't pronounce the person's name, but thank you for the super chat. Saying maybe a way to think of why when Hindu gods manifest differently is to think of water, ice, and vapor depending on temperature. Ooh, and then continues. Earlier, somebody made a joking analogy to super. What is this? Super science? Yeah, super science in
Dragon Ball Z.
In what? Okay.
Dragon Ball Z. That's what DBZ stands for.
I don't know this. Goku once said to Gohan, "The power comes in response to a need, not a desire." Yeah, I don't watch Dragon Ball, so I don't know the reference. But go on, Hindu history, you were saying
what the transformation of the avatar represents.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you were
showing I mean, I was just joking. when I said that.
But maybe, okay. Hindu historian, go on.
Yeah. Wait, we were just at the picture of the Krishna family tree, right? Yes. No, you were asking? Sorry. Where were we?
This is like a theogony almost, right? This is like a theogony where the god. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, where were we at before? Sorry,
you were saying Kali is not even. Kali apparently is not even important to be included in all of this.
No,
that was Arjun who said that. Yeah, okay. I agree with him, by the way. Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Guys, so wait. So all of this fuss again that everybody is going after like us for a god that is not even important to be included in this whole family tree, like
theogony. No, this is not. Theogony. This is not a family tree. It's not exhaustive, right? It's only a theogony. It's like the main gods and the generations of gods.
The main gods. So why are people so butthurt over Kali if she's not that even not that important?
Well, this is something I've been saying a lot, and that is, it's just, I think that being used to freedom of expression on the internet is something that a lot of Indians are just now getting used to. because a lot of Indians are fresh on the internet because they recently got affordable internet access through Geo, and that's also why T-Series became #1 so fast. Same thing. So I think they will become desensitized to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And,
But
yes,
okay, Arjun.
So I think it's two things. First of all, they don't. I feel like the it's not a matter of like ontology. So it's not a matter of ontology when they get offended. It's more a matter of like it's our thing. So you can't say anything about it. So it's just at that level. It's like a tantrum. That's one thing. And the second thing would be a little more controversial. I think it has to do with Indian nationalism or that's arising. So how dare like you come from Western perspective and say something like we are this perfect pure civilization, and how dare you come in here and say something about our civilization? You know, like how Daniel Hakikaju always talks about how Western liberalism is such a contradict it's such a hypocritical system, and it comes and tries to replace Islam, but actually it itself has no more justification than Islam. So like you know how so it's like the Daniel Hakikaju perspective on.
So do they? So for okay, so for does that mean like these people that say that, the Hindus that say that, they have no opinion ever of like Jesus because they think like they never would,
no, but doesn't Daniel Hakikaju have an opinion on Christianity, right? So
right.
So like you know that doesn't preclude that.
Interesting. Okay, so can we actually focus a little back to Kali? This is about Kali, you guys. This is about Kali, guys. Okay, so what are these things that she's holding represent? Okay, so she's like going on. Is there a moral lesson here from her like rampage and her rage, or is it just like is it supposed? Okay, so does it you said she symbolizes time? Okay, does she symbolize anything else? Like, and the things that she's holding, that they symbolize anything specific?
Two of the things she's holding, the discus in her top right arm, and then the mace in her next top, or no, that's her next top right arm, are two of the same objects held by Vishnu. And the discus, the chakra, represents
the fidget spinner,
the cycle of time that Hindus believe in.
Really?
I never heard that. I never heard that. But maybe I don't dispute it, but I never heard that.
No, let me just check that just to be sure.
I don't dispute it.
Isn't it extremely inconvenient to fight like this? Like, wouldn't it be more convenient if you like replace some of these things with more weapons instead of like?
Remember how big she is, so all her lower arms are holding weapons. Those are the ones that can reach the demons on the ground.
Oh wait, no. The fidget spinner thing is actually launched, so you don't have to reach them with the actual hand. It launches, so it actually flies from your hand to their neck and like decapitates them.
Is it kind of like a weaponized boomerang or like ninja? Yes,
it's like a boomerang. Exactly, it works like a.
I've never heard though of it actually being used as a weapon anywhere in Hindu literature I've read though. Arjun, have you read of it being used as a weapon?
It's. I mean, I'll have to think of it. I'll come up with the story. Just
Harshit is saying it's the disc of death.
Two of the objects are the same objects Vishnu are holding, the chakra and the mace.
Isn't there a story with Ram? Ram uses it against I believe Ravan, Ravana. So this is from the Ramayana. His discus expands and expands. I don't know why it expands. I can't remember the reason now. But he did use the disc as a boomerang type. I mean, it didn't come back, so I guess not a boomerang. But so it's like a low tech boomerang. But yeah.
And, I have not read the actual like full unabridged Ramayana. I only have the English translation by Ramesh Midden.
Right. Okay. I mean, but this is the story that like the Ramayana that everybody knows. So I mean, I'm just saying that it's not like irrelevant.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So look, she has these skulls around her neck, and the hands that she cut off, those are supposed to represent, I think, like her how aggressive and badass she is, right?
Yes, that's right.
But she's also always holding one head in one of her hands. What is this head different from all the heads around her neck?
That head.
Is that like a very special head? Does it have power?
There was actually a myth there that the blood of that head wasn't supposed to touch the ground. Arjun, have you heard that one before?
Yeah.
Something like I forget that story. I do not know the story of that particular head. No, but I always see her holding it. That's right.
Yeah, I also see her holding it, and in some images she's holding like a plate under it, so and
like Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi would hold it.
Well,
No, but
yeah, but
there was something though. There was something about like the story of that particular demon. Like if its blood touched the ground, something bad would happen. I could have sworn I remember reading that, but I am not 100% on that story.
Yeah, I can't remember that either. It must not be important if both of us can remember.
like, look, for example, like she's always holding a plate here.
Yes.
And the blood is dripping from that head to here. So she's like, I don't know what's up with that. Look here as well. Look. Why does she have less hands here than the other ones? Like,
just
number of hands are not consistent.
No,
it's not it's not an Abrahamic religion, Armin.
Yeah,
it's not an Abrahamic religion, Armin. You can't ask for consistency.
Yeah, you can draw like no, they're well, she's supposed to be a concept too, right? So
it's not Islam, Armin. It's not Islam, Armin.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's very interesting. That's very interesting that you say that, because Islam is very proud of how specific everything is, right?
Yeah.
Like Islam is like, look, we are so detailed, like every single dot, every single teaching, is like to the very detail. It's like completely precise. There's no if or buts about it. Like we have like, and even if we disagree, it doesn't mean that that it's supposed to be, and we disagree, but whatever the true answer is specific. Like they believe in objective reality, okay? And that's why some Muslims
determinate as well, right? Oh, sorry.
Determinate, yes. And that's why so many Muslims who didn't like that invented Sufism, right? Because like we want some mysticism in our religion, and that Sufism was created. But again, Hinduism, on the other hand, is proud of not being specific, for it having to be like a whole dismiss. But go on, Arjun, you were going. Actually, before you say that, can I actually read the super chat? We got a $5 super chat from AW saying, Armin has become deflated after realizing that Kali is not that important of a goddess in Hindu theology. Cheer up, man. Kali is indeed sexy Kali. Yes, and I don't care how important she is to you guys, to Hinduism. She's important to me, goddammit, okay? Nobody can change that. Thank you, AW. Yes, you're right. I would not. I still stand for nothing. I stand for Kali always. But go on. Sorry, AJ.
Well, I mean, you're assuming that Sufism has nothing to do with Hinduism, but
no, it does.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So Sufism gets that from Hinduism, more or less. Obviously, I mean, I can't prove that 100%, but in many cases. So
I heard there's Ghazali that.
Well, actually, I said that, so I.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's circular. If you. So yeah.
Is it true? Do we know if it's true?
I don't know for sure, but I mean, Al-Ghazali was educated in Persian and Hindu literature, so we know that much. I'm sorry if I made the claim seem more certain than it was.
Okay,
it's okay. In terms of some of the imagery and symbolism, so like I've heard that the head is really important because the blood from it, if she doesn't drink it, if the blood hits the ground, it'll multiply into further demons. Is that?
Oh yes, that's right. That's what it was. Yes, I was saying yes. The blood couldn't touch the ground, and now I remember why. And that's why. Yes, that's right.
What would happen? What would happen if the blood touched the ground?
Then it would spawn into more demons.
Oh, so why does she carry it around?
This is more like Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball, you have the same thing.
Drink the blood. She has to drink the blood because otherwise her foes will multiply like a hydra.
Why can't she just like burn it? Burn the head?
It's not an Abrahamic religion.
What?
Wait, I had a question though, because I think some of my preliminary research into this gave me some insight into why some of the backlash may have been a little bit more specific, specifically regarding the symbolism of her tongue. Yeah. So like I've heard that there are different symbolisms for the tongue. Like one is kind of, and please let me know what is you're familiar with. One is, kind of like a classic like war cry, like ah. And then another one actually later in time, it became a symbol of her embarrassment or expression of shame for stepping on her husband. So I was thinking, maybe if the tongue sticking out in that way is a symbol of this shame towards dishonoring her husband, and then in this image where she's sticking out her tongue in a very like sexually inviting way, like maybe that
Oh,
some insight.
the one that I posted. Okay,
Yeah,
so by the way, so
I'm speculating, but I want feedback from
okay.
them.
By the way, before you answer, let me actually read the super chat. The super chat by I don't know, I can't pronounce this. It's saying it is wrecked. Can somebody else a demon? Can somebody else read it? Okay, go.
Oh, sorry.
You read
It is rat beach. Some kind of seed. But what is rat?
Rat means blood, and
blood. Okay, so blood seed. A demon whose is W. Sorry. Anyway, I'm not a grammar. Anyway, whose blood if I'm sorry. In the case, okay, I'll just edit this. In which case? No, sorry. Wait. In the case where. Okay. I can't edit
a demon whose blood, if drops to the ground, another demon from that blood will grow. Okay. So that was. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name, but thank you so much. But so basically, what Susanna was saying, that maybe why people.
Like, he's right. This comment is correct. Exactly. I mean, this is what Cell does in Dragon Ball Z. Anyway,
right.
Sorry.
So basically, what her in the real imagery, her tongue, she has her tongue out like as a badass war, I don't know, war cry or something like that. But Susanna's saying maybe the reason why people got offended by my cartoon is because she has her tongue out there, more of a sexually inviting, suggesting kind of thing. That's why people didn't like it.
But, did anyone actually say that to you though?
Huh?
Did anyone actually tell you that's why they were upset though, or
no?
Okay.
It was not.
No, I've never. The only time I've heard of any explanation of the symbolism of Kali's tongue is the explanation I gave earlier, which was she stepped on her husband's chest and she was embarrassed and she bit her tongue in shame, and that's why it's lolling out in that pose. But yes, Sergeant.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that maybe some of the offense came from the sexually suggestive nature of the tongue in the image Armin posted, because it's very antithetical to that idea of shamefulness for stepping on your husband, right? This is just speculation on my part, but I thought that was kind of interesting when I was watching some videos about different interpretations over time, over various parts of her symbolism, like her tongue, the earrings, they all have very specific meanings. And that idea of the tongue being associated with like her shame, and then twisting that in this image.
That's possible. Yeah. Yes.
For that,
but isn't that less sexual than the fact the story, the part of the story that she got art, like somebody has sex with her without consent? Isn't that worse?
No, I have to correct. I'm talking. That was a different story. Sorry, that was Shiva going after an avatar of Vishnu called Mohini. It's not Kali. It has nothing to do with Kali. Sorry, I'll just bring it up to talk about like Shiva,
Mohini.
like the common themes around Shiva in general. That Shiva is not like a consistently respected god. Like Zeus is in Greek mythology, Zeus is a consistently respected god. He is always doing justice. But then the other gods like Ares Hephaestus, for example, or Hephaestus. Sorry, I know Greek, so it's confusing. Anyway, Hephaestus, he goes and sleeps with Aphrodite, right? Ares, consort. So like the other gods are not like they're not like authorities. It's only the like Vishnu who. It depends on the stage of Hinduism, but yeah.
By the way, thank you so much, Mike Ferdy, for the 2-something super chat. I really
Singaporean dollars, I think.
Is that right? Singaporean dollars. Mortal is saying, okay. By the way, before I ask Mortal questions, what I'm wondering is that given in the mythology, there's so much sex going on, and so much sex without consent sometimes going on and stuff like that. I was just wondering, why was the tongue out and the wink, like, was that such a big deal given that there's already so much sexualization? Yeah. Go on.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, can I
yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with any specific narrative elements. I think it simply has to do with like the culture of revering and like being in awe and all of this, because like, for example, there's many things in Islam which are not explicitly wrong, but they would still like I mean, in Islam, it's actually wrong to draw anything technically, right? Just like Judaism, you cannot actually draw humans, plants, animals, any representation. But why is it only for Muhammad? So it's like that. It's like one of those things where it's not specifically textual, but it's like it's one of those things which comes out of this illogic and the superstition. That would be my interpretation.
Yeah. No, that sounds right. Yeah.
That sounds right. Okay. Wow, you guys. Okay, cool. All right. So, is there anything else she's holding that symbolizes what? Where? By the way, like, where is she?
Sorry,
like, is she dead? Is she alive? Is she like somewhere in existence within like the universe?
Deities. That's not exactly. They exist. They're not believed to exist on the same plane as we are. Like, really.
But they exist. Physically,
if you believe they exist, like I said, I don't really believe that the stories in the Puranas and the Sutras are true.
But Hindu, like let's say like religious Hindus, okay?
Yeah.
Do they believe that Kali right now is somewhere doing something?
They exist. She exists. That she's their divine mother, same as any other form of Shakti. That's right.
Physically somewhere right now. Physically.
Yes. Though others, depends on who you ask. Some would say
that's a good question because
she's a concept. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And does she eat? Does she go to the washroom? Does she have sex?
Gods. When sexual imagery is used to describe the actions of gods, I would say that's. I just don't see how a god would need to have sex. So I would say there's no interpretation of that that's not metaphorical.
Really? So every single story that is about sexual relationship between gods and demons or whatever, all you're saying for everybody that's metaphorical?
For me, that's for me.
Not for you. I'm not saying for you. Like for more mainstream religious Hindus.
No, it depends on. Yes, Arjun. It depends on who you ask. It depends on like what their specific school of thought, what they believe. But no, yes, Arjun.
I think the problem actually goes a little bit deeper, because the whole concept of separating objective reality from myth doesn't even come in, because I think that's actually part of the thing. Like how Judaism, like the founding myth of Judaism is that Abraham rejects the gods of his fathers and goes to the true God. So this is, Abrahamic religion is not like a corruption on Hinduism. It's like you're at least rejecting one aspect of like everything that's ancestral. We don't believe that. We only believe in one. I'm taking kind of the conventional view on this, that monotheism is the next stage of polytheism, as opposed to like some kind of rigid Semitic backwardness. So Abraham rejecting the gods, that hasn't even happened yet with the Hindus. So Abraham hasn't even rejected the gods of his father. He still believes in the gods of his fathers. That's what Hinduism is, in my view.
It just seems like, for me, it seems like Hinduism, it could be, it's just all over the place. You know what I mean? There's no
just as I would argue, just like before Abraham, there's no Abraham, but I mean, like what the story symbolizes, that Abraham goes and rejects all these arbitrary things, and he goes to like the one true God which he thinks exists. So that that's the conventional view, right? That monotheism is like the next stage of polytheism. So,
Chicken Jar just sent us $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Chicken Jar. And he or she is saying, by smoking 240 micrograms of DMT, you can go and talk to Kali and Shiva. Try it out, Armin, and send us feedback.
You should invite Joe Rogan on the podcast.
Oh my God, that was the best comment. That was the best comment. But honestly, like, by the way, seriously, do you guys think like the people that came up with these stories were high on something when they were writing it? Like, it's.
What do you think Soma was, Arjun?
Okay. I don't know if I've only read the Rig Veda, so I haven't actually looked into what it could correspond to in actual history. I assume it was something psychotropic. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it could have been something psychoactive for sure, but the thing is, we don't even know to this day what it is. We're still speculating about it. And Ambedkar's book, Riddles of Hinduism, he actually said he believed it was an alcoholic drink. I do not believe that at all. I think it may have been psychoactive in some other way.
There's a few different views. Like it could be opiate, it could be, but I don't see how that's like relevant, because then if they still believe that drug-induced highs can give them some insight into reality, they're still false. Like they're still like going. But anyway, that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
Rishi. Okay, go.
Sorry, Rishi Agyani. That's his name.
Rishi saying different Puranas put different gods as supreme one. Also, Indians got mad at you just for the sake of getting mad, as they thought that it's not just Muslims' right to get angry. Oh, so yes, I hear a lot of people saying that basically Hindus in India are trying to outcompete with Muslims in the rage, because it's kind of like honor. It's kind of like, let's say, for example, somebody comes for your, like, says something about your sister, and you're showing her male honor, like, I'm the angriest person in the room right now. And now somebody says so that's what the Muslims are doing. Like, look how much honor I have. Look how angry I get. And then the Hindus are noticing, like, God damn it, we need to show that much honor for our things as well. So they're just trying to compete with the Muslims to show more rage, to be like, look, we have honor as well, and we protect our belief as well. Like, is that like what's happening?
That's possible, and I think that if that's the case, then they need to realize how the rest of the world looks at that behavior and how they view it.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
by the way,
because Muslims have been daring everybody for a while on that. Like, look how how we intimidate people. Look how we defend our our prophet, so that people like they're proud of not all of them, by the way, a lot of them, but are proud of the fact that people think twice before insulting their prophet, right? Yeah. So, and they like, look, these Christians and these Hindus and the Jews, look how weak they are. They just let people just roll right over them and make a mockery out of the things that they consider sacred. So I think like some Hindus in India are like noticing that. They're like, no, we do the same thing. Like, maybe
that happened with the founding of Sikhism, by the way. That's pretty much the only reason Sikhism was founded, was to resist the Islamic presence on the subcontinent. Well, I mean, that's the main, yes. Well, Arjun, yes.
Well, so the thing with Sikhism is, I would claim that part of it was also, and now this is going to be unpopular with the Hindu crowd, part of it was resistance to the caste system. I'm not left. By the way, I'm not on the left politically, but someone assumes you're on the left politically when you talk about the caste system in the Indian context. Anyway, sorry. So, so it was, part of it was resistance to the caste system, but part of it was also like a resistance to the ritualistic nature of Hinduism. And by the way, I was like, it's weird because in India religions run in families. Like it's conflated with genetics. I'm half Sikh technically, so yeah. So the other reason was that they wanted to resist like the caste system and ritualistic stuff. But then why didn't they just become Muslim? That's always been my question. I don't understand the logic of Sikhism, honestly. It's just like Islam without the Quran on it. Like, I mean, not really, but it's like it just plagiarizes. It's a plagiarism of Islam and Hinduism, and it's like it's nothing.
It's their baby.
It's both and it's nothing.
It's Islam and Hinduism's baby.
I would say like it's more the only really thing they still believe in reincarnation and in karma. They just don't believe in caste, and that's the same thing as any daughter religion of Hinduism. Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, they all reject the caste system, and that's one of the main criticisms that made them branch out, right? Like Buddhism, especially, like Buddha has written such harsh critiques of the caste system. By the way, no, keep going.
Ethan is saying before TV or even the Gutenberg press, people needed entertainment around the fire. Surely these stories serve that purpose. Yeah, but then the problem started when people took them seriously. I think basically all of these religions started as like stories, but then, yeah, Arjun.
This is assuming that ancient people even made the distinction between stories and fact. It's not. I mean, I don't know why you're making such a big assumption, because the whole point of things like the concept of objective reality and such, these were developed over a long time. It's not like humans naturally thought that there was a difference between what they thought and what actually exists. Like humans didn't always have this distinction, right? Humans didn't always realize that anything that occurs to them isn't necessarily true. So you're assuming that ancient people had the same understanding of the distinction between what exists out there and what is just a matter of fancy. Like Plato, for example, Plato believed that everything that you think of exists somewhere. So this is a very big assumption to make of ancient Hindus.
We got $5 super chat from Kunav. Thank you so much, Kunav. Thank you. Kunav is saying Hindutva would not been too offended because one of their goals is to abolish the caste discrimination. Oh yeah, I keep hearing that like the Hindutva people are the most aggressive against caste discrimination. Is that true?
Oh, that's So there's a specific Hindutva philosopher, Savarkar. And I don't want to go. I mean, I don't know what I can say because
short version.
You're gonna get triggered, and this is gonna be really bad if I anyway.
Do it.
He was inspired by Mussolini, this particular Hindutva thinker. Okay, so I mean, you're gonna get a shit. I'm so sorry, but everyone's gonna come at you now that we're leftists and we're communists. That's why we're saying this. So
they're already a communist,
right, but it's going to get worse now since I said Savarkar was inspired by Mussolini. So anyway, that he in particular only believed in the Indian race. He didn't believe in the caste system. He believed that the Indian race should be one, but then the Indian race should be superior. That's my understanding. And
like Muhammad, and are we like this is exactly what Muhammad and Genghis Khan did. Like guys.
Combine
why do we have so many mini tribes fighting against each other? Let's get together and have a super tribe. Like we're not inferior. Like all Muslims are equal. We're just all superior to everybody else, right?
But that's the best. That's the least dark, superstitious. Like most Hindus people probably haven't read Savarkar, so they probably still think that the caste system is legitimate, and they think that if you resist the caste system, that's Western imperialism, being against the caste system. But I'm not being completely charitable, to be fair. So I would love any pushback from anyone on this. I don't want to just
okay. But like, going back to the mythology, it seems to me the more I look into this is that it's not that deep. Okay, it's very interesting.
In my opinion,
Hindu mythology is very, very interesting, but it doesn't represent any. They claim that they represent any philosophical deep thought and nuances about the universe. I think I'm not seeing that. Like I keep asking, like, okay, tell me, what does this represent? What does this? And I keep hearing stories about what they represent, and it's fascinating and it's so entertaining. But it's like when it comes to actual good philosophy, it's like there's nothing there other than entertainment. Susanna.
Well, that's something I wanted to actually bring up, bringing it back to Kali, is my understanding is that she represents time and destruction, a female embodiment of destruction, time. A representation of sexuality is tied in there in some capacity. And a lot of the representations of her fighting demons, or specifically the beheaded, what was he called, bloodseed demon, is about representing ego death, or killing the ego. And I know that's a general theme, but could you guys speak to how that is represented in Kali specifically?
Just want to thank the $5 super chat by Haram Bain. Thank you so much. Saying cheers. Thank you so much. Okay, but even if what Susanna is saying is true, like, what is that? What's the message here? Like, time. Like, go on, Arjun.
I was going to say that maybe I want to answer Armin's point, and then we can get to. Is that
okay?
What you want?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, in terms of whatever philosophical achievements there are, or like statecraft or the Kama Sutra even, and there's another one called the Arthashastra. These books, which were more like, like for example, there's one thing in which the Indians excelled. This was grammar. They were like the best at grammar. It's true. Look it up. I'm not like, I'm no fan of India or Hinduism, but they were like literally the most advanced in grammar. That's like the one thing. Anyway, so they were the most advanced in grammar. They were the most, like, they had some other advancements. But these books had the least mention of gods and mythology and such things. So even in India, mythology is contrary to philosophical and naturalistic and
Yes.
And good achievements. Because even in India, when people wanted to achieve things and make intellectual contributions, they actually moved away from mythology. So it's not like India is this different place where they use mythology to find meaning. The Kama Sutra, the Arthashastra.
India had serious philosophers.
Right.
India had like some really serious and some very atheistic, like materialistic philosophers, like some really good, great thinkers. But then I think a lot of people want to claim that for Hinduism. And then if you like look at it, as like they were just the only relationship they had to Hinduism is that they were in India. I'm like, is that really the same? Like, they're not. That's not Hinduism. They were just philosophers. But then when you actually look at the mythology is interesting, but there's no deep philosophical thought that is coming out of mythology. I think like they're completely separate from each other. But let me see, Hindu historian. Did you want to add anything to that before we go back to?
Well, if I had the specific passages available right now, I would argue with you on that. But let's keep going.
Well, okay, but you disagree with me, right?
In certain cases, yes. But when it comes to the Puranas, I don't think there's a lot in them really that's deeply philosophical. They're more they're more like I said, I personally treat them as like stock mythology, as ways to help me think of God. But even if that's not the traditional way they've been, even if they were taken literally, yes, that's right. But no, yes, Arjun?
Well, by the way, before Arjun, we got $10 super chat, but super sticky. Thank you so much for the $10, David. But go on, Arjun.
I saw a pinned comment from Chicken Jar, and he was dismissing grammar as an achievement. So I just want to address that quickly before. Sorry, is there an echo, by the way? Because I had to take off my headset.
No.
Okay. So Chicken Jar said, "See, grammar is made up." But the problem with that is that language actually has to have a specific structure. Language is not literally it cannot be literally anything. So actually, grammar is a real achievement. But anyway, would you dispute? So Hindu historian, would you dispute that grammar is most probably, or maybe definitely, the biggest achievement of Indians? Like they were the most advanced in grammar, and maybe nothing else. Like grammar is the only one that is like unambiguous. We're sure that they were the most advanced.
Well, yes, they were advanced in grammar, and that's true. Yes, there's in fact an entire category of Smriti scripture called the Vedangas, which became, as Vedic Sanskrit evolved into classical Sanskrit and later. I'm just giving an example, but yes, they were.
That's not what I asked. Sorry, that's not what I asked. What I asked was, sorry. By the way, I'm being polite. Sorry, I'm trying to be polite. Sorry, but in terms of the so-called achievements of Indian civilization, most of them are controversial. So the only one I think that is not controversial, that is that everyone can, anyone who knows the subject can accept, is that India was the most advanced in terms of grammar. Every other science you can dispute that maybe the Egyptians knew more, or the Greeks. I mean, the Greeks knew everything, so that's different. But
Arjun, I appreciate you asking that question and raising that point, but that's not really what we're here to talk about today.
I was answering Armin's point about when India did something advanced, it wasn't mythological. It was not based in mythology. It didn't get any help from the superstition. It was only when they moved away from mythology that they did something great. And the greatest thing I think that Indian civilization has ever achieved, like a great scholar, was grammar. They were the most advanced grammar, undisputedly.
Hindu historian, you want to comment on that?
Well, yes. Okay, yes, they were. Yes, that was probably one of their greatest things. But I would say other fields, you're dismissing the other fields. I would say another one of the greatest things that we can thank India for is the base 10 number system and the concept of
and chess.
Okay. Was that filled with mythology though?
Huh?
Is the Shulba Sutra, right? Is that filled with mythology? Is that filled with superstition, or is it just talking about? Is that just talking about numbers? It's just talking about how numbers work. As far as
they're trying to steal our people. Okay, so but I say, like, if you go back to Indian history, you can see like these mythologies, Hinduism, all the mythology and the stories that is related to Hinduism. Okay, they're like, oh look, this is great contribution to the world, and then like this is like deep thinking, and then like, well, it's not. It's just all superstitious nonsense. And like, no, Armin, look, we had all these philosophers, and then like, okay, show me the Hinduism, philosophers in Hinduism, and then I look at them, and they're like, they're atheists, and then like, these are my people. Okay, like these are not your people. Like, why are you trying to claim? Like, you're like, oh, look at these great philosophers that we have, and like those are not yours. Those are in my camp. Okay, like what the hell? You're trying to take over. Like you're trying to gain credit for the people that believe in actually scientific explanations and actually looking at logical reasoning for why they believe in things they believe in. But
you're appropriating our philosophers.
Yeah, just because they were born, just because they're in India, they don't belong to Hinduism. Just because they're India.
You get a card. You get an Indian card from me. You can claim all the Indian rational thinkers.
Yes, we claim the Indian rational thinkers. They do not belong to Hinduism. By the way, guys, read this comment that I highlighted by Rish.
Rishi Agani says, Atheist Republic, for the deeper thoughts, one should not look at Puranas, but other darshan philosophies such as Charvaka.
Sorry, I didn't mute myself.
Charvaka is not a Hindu. Like, it's Arjun, you were saying at the beginning about Charvaka, right? Like, could you say that again?
The whole thing is finished. We agree that Hinduism has nothing to do with anything rational or useful. Anyway, sorry, that's enough.
Oh, we do? We agree on that?
Oh, well, nah. No, I just don't have the passages available and like the references available right now. Maybe we can talk about that another time.
But literally, Charvaka is like the first appeal of Hindus to like rationality. So if you say Charvaka is not Hinduism, I think it's finished. Like we don't need to talk about Hinduism anymore.
So, like for example, let's focus on. For example, if we go to Kali, right? The Kali, like everybody's like, she symbolizes this, she symbolizes that. This, what she's holding is this. This fidget spinner means this. The beheaded, the head that she's holding is this. She's fighting demons, like. But again, all of this is so fascinating. Okay, but can we actually like? Is there anything significant about her story that we could learn from or make us reflect about the nature?
Can I help you articulate that?
Yes, go ahead.
Is there anything we can learn from that that we couldn't learn through a rational, unambiguous process instead of having this ambiguity? Can we learn it in an actual, rational, clear process? Is that what you're trying to say, Armin?
Right, exactly. Yes, thank you. Yeah, by the way, Hindu historian, don't worry. The live chat is like, no matter, it doesn't matter what you do. People are gonna come and like you have to get used to this. People, you could have like all the degrees in the world, and people in the live chat are gonna tell you that you're an idiot. Okay, so
I'll say right now. I mean, Hindu historian knows more about the side of Hinduism that we came here to talk about today, for sure.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, no, it's just I think I should have gone through I'd done a dress rehearsal of what I'd written down first, so I've been more articulate at the beginning. But no, I got home from work and just started writing down what I was going to talk about. So, but here we yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything we haven't covered yet that you want to talk about?
Can I extend an olive branch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is not just Hinduism. This is every ancient system of thought that had nothing to do with rationality. It's not Hinduism that's uniquely bad. We're not saying Hinduism is uniquely evil or uniquely bad. Hinduism is as untrue as all the other mythologies. We're not saying anything special about Hinduism. We're not saying like the Indians should be ashamed or something. Like they were in the same folly as every other civilization at that point. So that's okay.
But they're also fascinating. Like we're still
they aren't past it though.
I mean, why have these not turned into like Hollywood movies like yet? Like, how is it that these gods and goddesses, like their stories, like
look what happened when you made a little drawing of one. How do you think?
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, wait, guys, over the time. Okay, Susanna. Wait, no, before Susanna, super chat.
I was going to acknowledge the super chat.
Okay, can you read the super chat?
Yes, from Sunav. Many Hindus would be surprised that Sarvakar was against cow worship. He argued that cow worship was as weak as Muslim armies had once used cows as a shield during key battles against the Hindus.
Okay, one thing I would correct about cow worship is cows.
Thank you for the $20 super chat.
Yes, thank you. That's a big super chat.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Yes.
By the way, thank you. Actually, I must also say thank you because I really want Atheist Republic to succeed at this mission. So I also want to say thank you.
Yes. So cow worship is the wrong term. It's considering cows sacred. That's the real thing. Like Hindus do not worship cows.
No.
But yes.
I literally worship cows. I mean, I'm not saying I'm representative of like everybody, but I literally worship cows myself.
You did?
I did, yeah. I mean, I was a Hindu. Didn't I say I'm an ex-Hindu?
Yeah.
Yes, but you said
you're. What do you think of the idea? Sorry, Armin, you were saying. I interrupted.
No. You go ahead.
Yeah. What do you think of the idea? This is something I heard that it was lactose tolerance that triggered the Indo-European expansion, and that's also why cows are so sacred in Hinduism. Is that same thing? Like, have you heard of that?
I mean, Arabs drink camel urine, or Arabs used to drink camel urine. I mean, it's not a good. I mean, it's not. It doesn't justify it. It's just we just understand why they were mistaken. It doesn't make it right.
No, I wasn't asking if you think that's right. I'm asking, what do you think of that theory? Do you think that's plausible? Like it was lactose tolerance with the Indo-Europeans that resulted in the reverence for cows in Hinduism? Like,
I mean, I don't know, because that seems like putting the cart before the horse. Because if they were the ones who domesticated the cow, then obviously they'd be the first one to be lactose tolerant. So it's kind of like,
by the way,
where's the chicken? Kind of.
Ethan is saying, is there anything we can get from Kali that we can't get from, let's say, Wonder Woman or another modern mythological character? Yeah, for example, I think like Harry Potter, which is fantasy, has a lot more moral teachings and like way like when it comes to philosophy and things that you can learn and get a better perspective of. I don't know. Even Harry Potter is an anti-racism book, right? And I feel like you get a lot more from Harry Potter, like moral teachings, than you could ever get from Hinduism. But by the way, we got another super chat. What do you guys think?
Okay. Susanna first.
I want to acknowledge that we got a super chat from Avi. $5 Canadian. Thank you, Avi. He's saying, Armin, Hindu stories are turned into movies all the time and TV shows too. They're super epic.
No.
Well, I want to learn how to find these.
There's an interesting anecdote about that. We can get to that later. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like high budget movies. Like, are they actually that good?
Well, wait, just a second.
There is actually a very nice one. There's a rad Ramayana movie. Sorry, but please finish thanking.
My family owns that like 18 DVD set of like. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Let Susanna.
Also, we have a new member, Dharma.
Wait, thank you, Avi. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And yes, here's the new member.
Thank you for becoming a member, and welcome to Satan's Minion. And also, we got a $10 super chat from San Miguel TV. Thank you,
guys. Go check out San Miguel TV's YouTube channel especially if you're interested in Black Hebrew Israelites. San Miguel TV. He's an ex-Black Hebrew Israelite, and that is a fascinating cult. Go check out his YouTube channel. But yes, you guys are saying.
So there was an interesting story about a high-budget Hindu movie, which actually shows that they were intolerant before. But we were talking about something else before that. If we can get to that anecdote. What were we talking about?
We're talking about Harry Potter having more philosophy.
No. The only thing I would extend another olive branch for that. You won't make literally the same story again. So obviously, if you want as many stories as possible, you kind of want these these dusty books somewhere in a shelf somewhere, obviously, because you won't make literally the same story again, right? So if you want as many stories as possible to survive, keep them in a library somewhere.
I think if a lot of Hindus were not so butthurt about holding.
The anecdote I was talking about was about this.
No, but I'm just saying that, all these culture and all these stories, they evolved from people sharing and cultures and stories, copying each other, adding their own spin to it, and recreating new gods and goddesses throughout history. And I just think like people don't understand where these ideas came from, and just all of a sudden it just stopped, right? I mean, isn't Kali like from like another place and now it became mainstream? Like people, it's just like now people are saying, oh no, this is our god, you can't touch it. Like no, I mean, if you let other people, maybe you could make another version of Kali that is not even like Kali. We go on, sorry, Arjun, go on. But we've got a new member, David Solomon, new member. Thank you so much. But go on.
Thank you. So it's interesting that you say that, because we were talking about high budget Hindu god movies. So actually, the Japanese or a Japanese studio, I suppose, was making a Ramayana movie, and I think initially Hindu historian, please correct, and Susanna also, please correct me if I get anything wrong. They were going to make a movie, I believe, with Indian voice actors, but then they had to make it with American voice actors because people just didn't want Rama to be animated, and they didn't want his story to be animated. In fact, I grew up on this movie. This was like one of my favorite movies as a child. And the Hindu, like, the sort of sensitive Hindus didn't want this made even. So they would have robbed me of my childhood.
So Hindu historian, what do you think about this?
What do I think about
the cultural appropriation and people being able to
the lack of it. Cultural appropriation would be the good thing. It would be the right thing here.
That's how Hinduism is like supposed to work. Like we say we have 330 billion gods.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Like Hinduism is like the kind of where like it's like, tell us about your guy, we'll add him to our collection, and it's another valid way of thinking about God.
I like.
Yeah.
Oh, like that. That's a very nice god I see you have there. Maybe I'll just pick it and add it to our collection. But then when we go and this is hypocrisy. They go out and take other people's gods and add it to their collection. But when we take their god and be just like, oh, your god is now winking at us, they're like, oh my god, you can't do that with our gods, even though they're claiming other people's gods.
You can't make anime. You can't make anime with their gods.
What I'm saying is, like, this new God that we're learning about, okay, well, that's another valid way of thinking about God, really. That's what I mean. Like, that's what it is, really.
Are we actually
like another way of realizing the Supreme? That's what this appropriation really is.
Is that true? Holy crap! What the hell? Binary Skeptic just mentioned in the live chat we're only one patron away from our sexy Hindu goddess project. I couldn't believe I did. Like, what? We're 149. How fast are we, guys? Thank you. I'm gonna go thank the new patrons. Thank you so much for letting me know, Binary Skeptic. Wow, damn. Okay, but guys, so Hindu historian, what do you like? You consider yourself a believing Hindu, right?
That's right.
Okay, so but you don't believe in the physical, literal God and goddesses, right? You believe that they are symbols of some energy or some force, and this is just a visual representation of those cosmic forces at play. Is that right?
That's right. However, I do believe that the birth of avatars on Earth is possible, but I do not believe that the canonical, like the 10 avatars are Vishnu or real. I think that avatars enter Earth whenever there's a problem, like something like a gardener coming and like trimming the bush. We don't know who they are. We don't know like who all the avatars are. That's my belief personally. I do believe, yeah, that's right. So I do believe that the canonical gods of Hinduism are just abstract concepts that are like anthropomorphized, really. That's what they are.
David, you're a YouTube member. You're not a patron, but that's okay, because if you're a YouTube member, that means like I would keep highlighting your comments here while you talk. So that's a good thing about being a YouTube member as well. Okay, and sometimes you get to come on streams and talk to me if you want as well, and you get access to the member-only exclusive videos. But here's the thing. So you actually think like they could come? So some of these avatars can actually manifest themselves on Earth physically.
In human form, yes, but we don't know who the avatars are. I don't believe that they proclaim themselves to be God, and the ones that do are lying. Those are like the godmen we hear about in India, which are...
so they don't have like 6 hands and 2 faces or 4 faces. They're just like human form. Right. Okay. And how, like, the view you have, how common that is? Like, how is that? I know there's no such thing as mainstream in Hinduism. Okay, no, there's like everybody is not mainstream, but how common is your perception of like your belief? How common is that? Like a lot of other people that think like you do? I mean, it's India, so everything there's a lot of everything.
Well,
but relatively.
That's what my family believes, and that's pretty much the only Hindus I know in the West here, really. But no, I don't. I think the mainstream branch of Hinduism is Vaishnavism, which believes in the 10 canonical avatars of Vishnu. So most Hindus do not believe what I believe. They believe in the 10 avatars of Vishnu. That would be like Matsya, the Narasimha, Krishna, Ram, Kalki. So
Varuna is one of the first. Like Varuna is the second one. I know all 10. I think I still know all 10, but we don't have to recite them. But
yeah,
like
guys. Sorry, I have to show you this.
We have a special announcement.
David Solomon became our 150th patron. David Solomon, thank you so much. 150, we hit 150. Sexy Goddess is coming right up, everybody. Yes, thank you so much. 150 reach live on here.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna say we're gonna have a harem of them, but I don't know if that's insensitive.
No, let's be insensitive. I don't care anymore. I cannot care. I literally.
We're gonna have a harem of Hindu goddesses. Hell yeah!
Yes, a harem of Hindu. Actually, that's going to be another project. We're going to make an actual literal harem. Like that's going to be one of our art projects. A harem with like all these Hindu goddesses and like I don't know, put some Muhammad. Oh, that would be the most offensive one of them all. Muhammad is going to be owning that harem. How about that? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You're all Muhammad concubines. That's awesome.
Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, my God. That would make...
Armin,
oh, that would rate... that would be so bad. But thank you so much. Thank you, Tokyo. We're at 150 patrons. My God, I never thought we would hit 150 this fast. But thank you, thank you, David, and thank you, everybody else for supporting us.
Wait, Armin, just out of curiosity, how many days has it been since you announced that 150 patrons thing?
Like, it's...
2?
Like, 2, yeah. Oh, my God. Like,
how many did you have before? Before this whole...
like
around 120?
120.
Okay, cool. So 30
120, 132.
30 like remember, like we got to where we were like for like after a year, we got to 120 after like this is like these 30 is like for us is like 8 months worth of work would we get like 30 patrons and we got them in 3 days. So this is like so that's great.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell the Hindus that are like wanna troll and try and harass and get this channel taken down. You're doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, and I'm telling. Here's the thing. I'm not even hiding it. I'm like actually telling them, like, hey guys, if you guys want to hurt me, you're actually doing the opposite, right? And then like I'm not even trying to trick them. Like I'm not saying, hey, let's like hide this from them so they keep it. Like I'm like, guys, you're helping me. Like I'm literally telling you guys that you're helping me, and they continue. Like, I don't know.
And they just think you're pouring yourself out.
Yeah, but thank you so much, David. Hell yeah, David is now a member and a patron. That's amazing. Thank you so much, David. But Hindu historian, how were you convinced that like you can have a literal avatar like at some point? Is that am I putting you on the spot? Sorry.
Oh no. Well, it's just when you think of the Hindu concept of the Brahman being both transcendent and immanent, the only way for that to happen is God has to be able to enter his creation somehow, and that would be through the concept. Because what Hinduism teaches is that God is both transcendent, so outside of our plane, and also immanent within our plane, but not like in a physical way. It's more like, and when he entering our world, becoming immanent, the only way I can see that is like through an avatar, because how else?
And is Kali real in your idea views?
She is. She's not an avatar. She's just she's a Devi.
Wait. Okay. So I was considering jumping on your side. Arjun, two questions for you. I think you now like you're not a full-on atheist. You don't believe any of this is real, right?
Now, about half my life.
About half your life. But before, your version of Hinduism believed that not only the avatars are real, but the gods were also literally real. That's what your Hinduism was.
Yes, I was a henotheist, so I believe that the gods are real, but that one god was above them all the other ones. This was actually a term coined for Hinduism, interestingly enough. But yeah.
We got another Kunav. You're giving us too many super chats. You're very generous. Thank you so much. $10 super chat. Kunav, we could do like smaller super chats as well, But thank you so much. Saying I think some selection of Hindus have started to become Abrahamic and have PTSD of past Islamic atrocities against Hindu society. I think that is why the blowback against Armin was massive. Okay, you want to respond?
That's been communicated to me. People are like, just seem to have a deep sensitivity to it being attacked because of past.
I don't think that people could have PTSD over generations, though. I don't think that's how PTSD. Like people like a lot of Hindus come and say like, Armin, you have no idea. We've been traumatized by Muslims. They killed all of us. Like, you weren't even alive. You weren't even alive back then. Okay, so
PTSD.
Let's go with Hindu historian's comment and then Arjun, because a Hindu historian hasn't had the chance to go on.
Well, there's if you watch David Wood's video about the persecution of Christians in India, he does end with a comment saying like, given the history of India, like the Islamic conquest and the colonialism, that like oppression, whether it's from 10 years ago or 500 years ago, always breeds resentment, and that's the kind of, instead of PTSD, I guess the word there, if you replace that with resentment, then
And this is why identity is dangerous, right? Because like if you are, instead of looking at things rationally and trying to evaluate what's good or not, if you focus too much on who you are, like the tribe that you belong to and the identity, then this whole collective punishment will become justified from both sides. And also revenge for crimes that happened from people many years ago becomes a thing, because again, it doesn't matter that it didn't happen to you literally. It's part of your identity, and it happened to you even before you even born. And this is why identities shouldn't be traditions and history and culture are fun, but again, identities should be based on ideas rather than ethnicity and geography and culture. Like I think you can enjoy culture without investing your entire who you are and what you represent. That shouldn't be based on culture, shouldn't be based on tradition. These are the results that you get from that. But here, Adrian, you want to say something?
Oh, sorry. So I'm going to say another thing that will bring something down upon you. It's not going to be bad for YouTube, but it's going to bring a lot of people if they understand what I'm saying. So I see it this way. I think the Islamic conquest is for them what the Treaty of Versailles was for a certain people in Europe.
But Treaty of Versailles made more sense for people to get angry because they were alive when it happened, right?
Right. So
they screwed us. We were screwed. I mean, sorry, it didn't make sense. Sorry, did I just justify something? No. No, guys. I was saying it makes sense for people to be angry about it, but it didn't make sense. Anything that came after.
You can say it the other way around. This makes even less sense than that. That doesn't make sense at all.
Oh yes.
Even less
okay,
sense.
Good. Thank you for saving me. Thank you, because I think I accidentally accidentally justified genocide. Oh my God. I wasn't saying that. Okay.
No, actually, no. Anyway, so what I was saying is that reversing the Islamic conquest is what will bring India its legitimacy and its greatness, and finally make it like a great nation in the world community. So obviously I'm exaggerating a bit, but the way I see it is that for them it's the Islamic conquest is their Treaty of Versailles.
Right. Yeah. So they're saying they're not literal PTSD. Yes. Okay. So maybe they're just seeing PTSD as they don't mean it literally. But I mean, even if they don't mean it literally, I don't think. I know, like Hindu historian, we have this also in Iran, right? Like many Iranians can't wait for the day that they could get revenge from the Arabs.
Armin, I would actually argue who wants to kill the Arabs more, the Iranians or the Indians? I don't know. Like, who wants to kill the Muslims more? Who knows? I have no idea.
Well, I think the Iranians, because I think
the Indians. So I don't know.
Can I tell you why I think the Iranians?
Okay.
Because the Iranians consider a lot of those kinds of Iranians. They believe that they are. I mean, technically they're right. They're still under that invasion, right?
Well,
like the Hindus, they're like, oh yeah, we were. The Hindus were like, we were fucked by Islam. And now we are independent, and we're fucking them back now.
They don't see it as in the past. They don't see it as in the past. Pakistan still exists. Pakistan.
Yes, but it's like your neighbor. It's like an enemy
It's not a
neighbor.
neighbor. For them, it's
But
not a
with
neighbor,
Iran,
though.
but
For them,
with
it's not a
Iranians,
neighbor,
it's
though.
Yeah, it's
no,
For them,
but,
it's not a neighbor, though.
supposed to
hold
be
on,
For them,
part of India.
it's like the Rhineland. For them, it's like the Rhineland. It's like
Yeah,
a part
but-
of India that's not a part of India anymore.
okay, so they took so they think maybe they took Islam as taking part of India, okay? But for
Right.
Iranians, this is like
took
for
all
them
of
this is
them.
like the invaded, like it's they're under the entire country has been taken hostage by this Arab culture. Like they're right now under, they're
I would definitely
they're-
argue about you with who hates the Muslims more.
yeah. So this is a major competition. But go on. Not the Muslims, the Arabs. This is racism, by the way, in Iran.
Right.
This is yeah. But go on, Hindu. Sorry.
There was also a lot of there's also a lot of like not only anti-Arab, but like also I understand anti-Islam, like that whole we're the original Aryan sort of thing, and like that culture, want to bring that culture back. What about
Right.
that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As for
Okay, but what does
Pakistan,
No,
Right,
let Hindu answer.
there's a lot of Pakistan. Lots of Indians believe that Pakistan is just a part of India that we need to get back. That's true. Like the Bagwai Pak, which is like the re-saffronization of Pakistan. That's what it stands for. So obviously a response to Ghazwa Hind. But as for partition, interesting fact. You know why Gandhi had those stupid posts where he was praising Muhammad and Islam? It's just because he was trying to promote Hindu-Muslim unity and prevent partition. That's the only reason.
Right.
So, yeah.
But, Susanna, do you want to read the super chat?
No.
I'll read the super chat, and then there's also another comment that
I will highlight.
I don't know. I kind of want to address. So Turone Rusu gave us 50 Danish krona. Thank you. They're saying on Hindu gods in human form. Just saying. Armin says human rights are timeless and blasphemy laws shall succumb to human rights. Oppenheimer verse. Does anyone know what that's referring to?
Verse? Bhagavad Gita 11:32.
Oh,
Can you
so
put it?
yeah, so okay, so this is in Hinduism, basically. You're saying. Here's the thing, though. Here's the difference between
The Story of Worlds. The
Arjun, can you let
sorry.
Armin finish?
No, it's okay. It's okay. By the way, thank you, Soha, for doing everything you do in the live chat. I have to also thank Soha. I just okay. First of all, I do think like a lot of these scriptures in Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they're not as, even if somebody wants to try to make it seem like they're saying something good, I don't think they're like, it's usually much more vague than people make it seem to be. But even if they were, again, I do not promote bad methodology that's sometimes happens to get the right conclusions, right? Like revelation, faith, ancient scripture, ancient texts, culture, tradition. These are not good ways to come up with conclusions. They're bad methodology that sometimes gives us good answers. Sometimes they give us good answers, right? I rather use a good methodology like logical thinking, Occam's razor, knowing the logical fallacies, the scientific method, data analysis, all of that. To the better methodology that sometimes gives us wrong answers, but most of the time it gives us better answers, rather than celebrating wrong methodology that sometimes gives us good answers, right? Go on.
Broken clock is right twice a day. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And again, when it's right, that doesn't mean that you celebrate. Yeah, Susanna?
I don't know. I saw a comment that I feel like I just want to speak to. So at 7:33 my time. Two comments above the last super chat, if you're looking for it on the screen. Saurav Kumar says, deal Hindus with your soft side because they're victims. So at Atheist Republic, we don't really believe in treating people like victims. However, there is a lot that we do to legitimately address the persecution that Hindus do face. That's something I take very seriously. I take the persecution of religious minorities very seriously. So, for example, we spend a lot of time talking about forced conversions and married children getting kidnapped and forcibly married in Pakistan a lot. We talk a lot about the abuse of Dalits and casteism in India. So I think treating someone as a victim with your soft side, so to speak, because they have been victimized in some way in the past is a little infantilizing. But when there is legitimate victimhood going on, we do address it, and that's something I'm very passionate about.
Before can you read before we go to Arjun? Can you read the super chat, Susanna?
Oh my gosh, another one from Kunav.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my God. $5. Iran used to be a Hindu society. The religious divide was when the Iranians worshipped the Asuras and the Indians worshipped the Devas.
That's wrong.
It was Zoroastrian, I think. Yeah. I mean,
could I add to Susanna's point?
Yes, but after that, can we also ask? By the way, thank you again for the super chat, Kuna. Very generous. Let's go to Arjun, but before that, I do also want to ask a fight between Kali and Thor. Who would win? I want to discuss that after. Okay, but go on, Arjun.
So in terms of Susanna's point, I agree that we shouldn't make victims, especially not of collectives. If we focus on the individuals who are victimized, then we'll have the right approach. But if we talk about collective and we'll blame a collective for the victimization and we'll consider a collective a victim, a collective is never a victim and a collective is never a victimizer. And that's where the woke goes wrong. That's where all of these racist movements go wrong. That's where collectivism goes wrong there. Victimization is only individual. That's the problem.
Wait, I would also like to acknowledge that we have a celebrity in the live chat. Haris Sultan, the Pakistani mulhid himself, is here. He's present.
I can't see.
So hi, Haris. Really love your work. Check out Haris Sultan's House of Sin or Pakistani mulhid if you are an Urdu speaker and want to hear about issues in Pakistan. He's the guy to go to. And when I need to look for news about Pakistan, which I'm investigating a lot recently in particular, I go to him. So thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, I've been watching him on both his channels recently, so I definitely like to give him props for that. He's great. Both his channels are great if you know both languages. So sorry.
A lot of people are voting for.
There was a question in the super chat about Iran having the same religion. Did we want to address that, or did we want to go to Kali?
Yeah, no. You can address that. No, you can address that.
This is the common view in India that all the Indo-European. We already discussed this with language before. That Indo-European languages come from India, not from an Aryan invasion. But by Aryan, I don't mean anything to do with the N people. I mean like the neutral concept in the theory of this certain herding tribe from the Caucasus. That's the scholarly consensus. So the religion of India also comes from there. But many people believe that India itself is the origin of all languages and all religions. And this is what I think this person was referring to, that Iran gets its culture from India, not the other way around, that India gets its culture from the Caucasus, which is the general scholarly understanding. He thinks that Iran got its culture from India and that India is the original progenitor of every advanced culture ever because we're like pure people or something.
Arjun, did you say Caucasus? Because I believe the Kurgan hypothesis actually puts it like in the Pontic steppe. That's the mainstream hypothesis right now for Indo-European origins.
I mean, that's not that far. I mean, that's the steppe in general. So as in between, there's a big range there. I mean, obviously these people weren't, they were herders, so they didn't leave like very substantial.
I'm assuming that we're actually right. I would say anything like, okay, sure, you can tell things about the past or like things we can't directly observe, but when you look at, like, unless you directly observe it, you might always be wrong. Like, did you know that?
Sorry, can I interrupt you really quickly?
Yeah.
That wasn't my point. My point was that many Hindus believe that their land is the origin of every advanced practice in civilization. So they believe that their land is the origin of all religion and all science and all, like the Persians used to believe, right, Armin? The Persians once used to believe that all knowledge comes from Persia originally, right? That's why they started collecting all the texts from around. Do you remember? Do you know about that concept?
Well, I mean, every civilization became an empire.
The Persians specifically believe that, right? That's why they started collecting, the golden age of the Arabs and Persians, which you refer to.
But
the Persians
so did the Romans. Yeah, go on.
Right. So they believe that everyone came from the Persians, right? And the Indians also believe, but the Indians believe it today. Whereas I don't know how many Persians believe that today.
Yeah, but we did get a super chat. Susanna, you're much better with people's names than I am.
Yeah, this is a Japanese name. Tsuro Rusu says, again, 50 Danish krona. Thank you. My Oppenheimer first statement was an ironic joke, Armin. Loosen up.
Okay.
You hear that?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't tell jokes. I'm sorry. All right. But guys, can we? Okay, wait. Hindu historian, did you want to add anything before we go to?
What you were describing, Arjun, I'm aware of that, and that just screams inferiority complex to me when I hear it. It's like, you know what it is, but it's saying that your culture engendered everything that exists, all our knowledge, that's like, however, I don't think it's impossible that India was the Indo-European homeland. I mean, I think Conrad Else did a pretty good job defending the case that India was the Indo-European homeland in Update on the Aryan Invasion debate. However, I would say that position does require more assumptions than thinking that the Aryans came from outside. That's right. Yes.
Okay, but the point would be it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter whether India is the origin of advanced culture or not, right? I mean, I don't think it is. No. And you might think it is, but it doesn't matter.
That's right.
You agree with that?
Oh, you guys agree? Well, guys, can we now answer the more important question of who would win? Who would win in a fight between Thor and Kali?
Well,
I have to go with Kali.
Why?
Kali
She's
would win.
badass. Look at her.
She doesn't have does she have any superpowers? Thor could literally smite her with thunder.
Thor or conventional Thor?
No, conventional Thor.
Okay.
The real. Wow! Imagine a Marvel Kali. That would be nice.
Oh.
We get more of Kali.
The Marvel
would be R-rated.
Make a replica of the Hindu gods in a comic a long time ago. I think called the Devas, but it was spelled Daevas.
Wait. Does Kali have any superpowers?
Can
she do something with time? With the fidget spinner? Can she stop time or something? Or turn it back?
No.
Because that would... She can't?
No, time does not
Okay,
stop.
so Thor... Okay, so Thor can win then, because she has literally no superpowers? I mean, Thor has super... Huh?
He has lightning.
Thor has lightning, and Kali has 0 superpowers. It's going to be an easy win for Thor. Sad.
Isn't she time itself?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, if you're time, you should be able to play with time a little bit.
That's what I was trying to explain at the beginning. It's etymologically related. So the time is Kali, and that's short vowels, and then Kali is long vowels. So I don't know, but I mean, maybe Hindu historian knows more about that. Is there any actual mythological relation between the two concepts, or is it just in the word?
Well, I'm only aware of the etymological connection, and with that connection, I make time and darkness. They both, but she does represent the end, the ultimate doom as well. So yes, time is correct. That's
Okay, so I'm just gonna assume you guys didn't understand your scripture, and Kali could literally pause or slow down time. Okay,
I've never heard of Kali slowing down time in any.
You just go check again. Just go check again, okay? So what's gonna happen is Thor is gonna try to hit her with thunder, and the thunder is usually slow down. She's just gonna dodge it.
Shouldn't it be something sexy though? Shouldn't her power be something sexy?
No, because she's not just sexy, okay? Just because I said she's sexy, that doesn't mean she's only sexy. There's so much more.
Arjun is the one who's objectifying.
Oh,
Arjun is the one who's objectifying.
Well, I mean, she's one of ours. She's one of ours, so I can... Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
he's a lot more in his woman, okay? She has many qualities. Don't you dare reduce her to that. But
yeah, but this is what I don't get understand. People I said she's sexy, and people are oh, Armin thinks that women are only good for sex. They're saying somebody is sexy, that doesn't reduce them to being sexy and nothing else. For crying out loud, you don't have this is so basic. Hey, look, this is black, okay? It's a black pen, okay? The color is black and silver. Does that mean that there's nothing else about this other than the adjective that I use? Come on, guys! This is it doesn't matter.
Yeah. yeah, you're a misogynist. You're a pervert. How dare you?
Well, pervert. I'll take that one. Proud one.
Hey, chickens are. You're implying. If you're implying that they're cognate deities, you're wrong. That's wrong.
I'll be right back.
I don't think that's not. Cognate deity is like Indra and Zeus, right? That's not. I don't.
Yeah.
Think that's
well,
right.
I think that's what when I read Chicken Jar's comment, that's what I thought he was saying. So.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry, I didn't see that.
He said that the Greek Kronos and Hindu Kali are like both mean time.
I don't think Kronos. No, he's mixing up two different things because I happen to know Greek. So Kronos has a kappa, and the concept of time is actually a key. It's completely different. They're not related.
Oh, the X. Yeah, that's right. The
kappa and the key.
Yeah. Okay.
So in English. So they're not even related at all.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay, now I'm getting elementary school flashbacks when I was obsessed with Greek mythology. I've forgotten most of it.
I have an idea for like some of the art projects that we're gonna do. I could make a poll on Patreon, and actually make a poll that only patrons can vote for. Like I could give them like 4 different art ideas, and then put it on Patreon, and just make it only available for patrons to vote on what's the next art project is going to. The first 3 I already determined. The first 3 is going to be. Kali, first one. The second one is going to be Kali and some other goddess. I don't know exactly which other goddess. They're going to have a lesbian kiss. It's going to be pro-LGBT, okay? I mean, isn't Hinduism pro-LGBT? People keep saying that.
There is.
Well, there's nothing in Hinduism that's against LGBT. That's what I'll say.
Shopam disagrees with that, but go on.
Oh, sorry. For the second one, in terms of what they would not like sexualized, no, you're gonna get more. I'm sorry. This is like the third thing I'm saying that's gonna get you anyway.
Don't worry, man. We're already deep in shit right now. Like, don't worry. Like, we can't get any worse.
Okay.
But
Sita, the wife of Ram, is a no for sexualizing. She's the real one. She's the one that would hit a nerve. Sita, the wife of Ram. She's not a goddess in her own right. Sita, the wife of Ram. That's the whole story.
But remember, Ram was a human form avatar of Vishnu, so he had so he was physically on this, like the story in the Ramayanas. He was physically. He's still a symbol of
chastity. Like the whole story is about her chastity.
That's right.
I can give you an anecdote for her how chaste she is, if you'd like.
Wait, you're saying people are more sensitive about Sita than
I'm pretty sure
than Kali? All this crap that I got would have gotten worse if it was Sita?
I'm pretty sure. I'll give you an anecdote to prove it maybe. Okay. So I don't know if you know the basic story, maybe you don't. So there's a demon who kidnaps her from Ram, and then she comes he wins a war against this demon. Just ignore that part, it's not that important. But anyway, so she comes back to his kingdom, and then his kingdom is all gossiping about this demon took her, and did he take away her chastity? And she walks through fire to prove that she's still chaste. Oh, okay, so Susanna knows the story. She walks through fire. And she comes out unscathed. In the Middle Ages, they had these things about drowning people or burning people to prove they're innocent. So she did this, and he still kicked her out with her children, with her 2 children. He still kicked her out.
Culture. This is purity culture.
Chaste one. He's a real chaste one, yeah.
This is her. This is Tita, right?
This me flashbacks. I haven't seen this depiction since I was really young.
This is so stupid. First, this is modesty culture, honor culture, all of them combined. This is so disgusting. This is this is what I'm talking about. Hinduism has bad teachings as well, right?
Right.
Oh, we got a $5 super chat. What's the connection?
Of course, I'll say that. So you should. Of course, I would say that. So that's.
Ivy saying, what's the connection between Hinduism and mental enlightenment stuff like yoga and meditation? Hindu historian, do you want to answer that?
Well, the practice of yoga means something else in Hinduism than the physical practice that they practice in the West. It means a way towards salvation, and yes.
No, wait. Let Hindu historian finish. By the way, I forgot to say thank you so much for the $5 Canadian super chat, Avi. But Hindu historian, finish your answer. I have a second question about Sita as well after this. But go on.
Okay. Well, I probably won't be able to answer the question about Sita because the only Ramayana I've read was an abridged English translation. But but yoga as an actual physical practice that we experience that is practiced in the West, that's separate from the religion. That comes from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I forget the vowels, Arjun, do you remember it? The Yoga
Oh
Sutra.
no, I was gonna say what yoga means. Yoga it's cognate with yugara. It means to link.
But in the
Anyway, so
context,
So Patriarchal wrote a certain book called the Patanjali Sutra, and from what I understand, now I might be inaccurate about this. So the different postures in yoga, they're supposed to represent the different species of animal life or something, something like that.
Can you, a Hindu historian, can you also answer this question? The story based on your understanding.
What does walking through fire have to do with? Well, no, it's not the same.
Read it fully.
So Chicken Jar asks, what does walking through fire have to do with being chased? This calls for witch trials. I guess he's trying to say it's similar to witch trials.
No. I think that, what was the story? Can somebody give the short summary of the story?
Well, yeah.
So people thought Sita had sex with somebody that as outside of marriage, right? Go on.
Well, they thought she was. Yeah.
No, go on, Hindu, sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, the fire, I believe, is just it shows it's a symbol of purity. That's in the story. That's what it is.
That was a test. That she was pure. Arjun?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Purity, chastity.
There's more to the story. So it's also victim blaming.
Yeah.
Because let me explain how. So how she gets kidnapped by this demon is that her brother-in-law, called Lakshmana, he's another important character in the story. Yeah. He uses, is it rice or something? What is it, by the way, Hindu story? Is it rice or what is it in the thing that he like puts around the? He puts like this magic line of rice or some kind of grain around their hut. Okay, there's a whole story. Anyway, so he puts this thing, and she steps out of that line because a beggar comes to her, and she wants to give him something. And the beggar is actually a demon, and he kidnaps her, and she disobeys. She disobeys her brother-in-law. That's why she gets kidnapped, because she steps out of his line. He drew a line for her to stay within the line, like hijab. It's like hijab, but like on the no, it's not clothing. It's hijab, like the line around the hut. She couldn't step outside that line otherwise, and that's when the demon took her away.
Right.
So it began with.
And then the demon didn't have sex with her, but there was these accusations that the demon had sex with
from the like the subject of Ram.
Okay, but when she came back home, people accused her of having sex with them, and she was like, no, I didn't. And then they did this test, and she went through fire, and nothing happened to her. So they were like, okay, you must be pure because you didn't burn.
No. He still kicked her out with her two children.
No, I know. I was going to get to that. Even though she passed the fire test, she was like, well, people are... Who's the husband? Which one we started? Rama said, like, you know what? I know you passed the test, but people are talking, and this doesn't look good on me. Huh?
Can you see that she's pregnant? She's actually pregnant during the chastity test.
Okay, but let me finish the story and tell me if it's correct or not.
Right.
People said, like, Ram was like, you know what, you passed the test, but I have a reputation to uphold, and you had sex with somebody else other than me, so I'm just going to kick you out of my house, right? Even though you passed the test. So this is like,
no, he didn't think that.
Sorry, no, you're not.
Think that. He wanted to appease his subjects.
I mean, isn't that like horrible teachings? Like isn't that like telling a woman that their value is in trying to keep themselves pure, and also your husband like caring more about a reputation and what other people are saying and stuff, rather than actually like your own wife and defending her, even though everybody is against them. Like, this is disgusting behavior by Ram, isn't it? Like, and what, like, when it comes to moral teachings, this seems to be like the opposite of what we want to. This is purity culture, right?
It's like Muhammad and Sauda. You know Muhammad and Sauda? You know that Sauda, the tall wife?
Yeah, that one. Yes. No, but seriously, like Hindu historian, do you agree that this is not good moral teachings?
If that story, again, I would have to recheck. I would have to read the Ramayana properly. Like I said, I've only read the abridged English translation by Ramesh Menon. But if that story, Arjun, you're describing is correct, then yes, that is a problem. But again, with the Shruti Smriti distinction, what the Ramayana is it's an itihasa, which is it's believed to be history. So Hindus believe it's a legitimate historical account. However, it falls into the category of scripture that's actually not considered divine revelation, but an embellishment on it by human hands. So it would make sense to contain like outdated cultural thoughts on
But it still, I mean, it still teaches something that is not. Susanna, you want to read the super chat?
Okay, so Turoi Rusu is saying, again, thank you for the 50 Danish krona. On offense taking, goddesses are idealized female figures, and sadly, there is a lot of patriarchal purity thinking and sex negativism in India. Part 1 of 3. Part 2. Since you guys mentioned Sita being burnt, please see my analogy to the Padmavati controversy, a film that glorifies self-immolation. And as I said the other day, for the Goddess Project, we need... As I said the other day, for the Goddess Project, we need Kali making out heavily with Sita as if she went for a badass girl after being dumped.
Okay. Sita. So it's going to be Sita then.
This is like my fan fiction right here.
Yeah, I like it.
I will see what apologetics I can reason out about that Sita stuff once I check it out properly.
That would also be really interesting to talk about. Well,
yeah, can we have an episode on the burning of Sita?
Okay, actually,
we have one more super chat.
Okay.
Sarah Leah is saying, thank you for the $5, Sarah. Keep it up, guys. I've only gotten a few rape and death threats for agreeing on Twitter, but totally worth it to expose these extremists. Wow. Sarah,
Wow.
I want to say honestly from the bottom of my heart how much it means to me that you're putting yourself through that on our behalf. Because I know just putting myself through it is a lot. So
I'm sorry, Sarah.
The way this is affecting people in our community does mean a lot to us, and it's something we don't take lightly at all. And the fact that you are willing to endure harassment, death, and rape threats to show support for us.
Yeah, you don't have to, by the way. Please don't.
You don't have
please,
to, and I can't tell. I can't tell you what that means to me. And if you have to back down, we won't think any less of you for it.
Of course not. Yeah,
I'm not especially brave because she doesn't even have brown privilege, so they'd go after her even more. And it's true. I'm not making this up. She's not.
No,
really not brown or Indian, so they will go after her more.
That's true.
That's my perception.
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
I did. Oh, sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
I did want to address the previous pin comment. Because I think it might be important. I don't know.
Go on. What
the one before the super chat.
Oh, you mean this one or
this one?
The last.
After the 3. Yeah, you're.
The number 3
before Sarah's super chat.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
No, after this one.
There was no after this one is Sarah.
Sorry, it wasn't a super chat. It was a member.
It was the member comment. I don't know who just mentioned what it was. I don't remember.
Okay,
is it
so
this one?
No. Anyway,
okay.
Someone said that Ram was only acting as a king and not as a god and not as an example to mankind. But that is the opposite of the truth. Ram is considered the perfect role. Yeah, exactly. Ram is considered the perfect role model for mankind, and in fact, utopia. In Hindi, the word for utopia is basically Ram Raja. It means the kingdom of Ram. That's like their version of utopia. So Ram is actually doing the perfect morally justified thing. But of course, Hindu historian, I'd love you to push back on that.
I obviously I don't agree with Ram being the perfect role model if that story is true. But what I would say is, well, I mean, if I can't reason out any good enough apologetics for that story, then I'm in trouble, obviously. But I as far as Ram being the pattern of conduct, there is no explicit affirmation of that anywhere in scripture, though. Like with the Hadith, you have Muhammad is the pattern of. With the Quran, literally says Muhammad is the pattern of conduct for mankind. But
guys, we need let's do this. Let's do an episode on this on Ram and Sita. And because we're already 2 hours, but that's very interesting.
I am not, to my knowledge, aware of any similar ruling that's in any school of Hinduism that says that yes, Ram is the
short answer because we need to read the super chat. And guys, no more super chats because we need to go. It's been already 2 hours. But you respond to that and then Susanna, read the super chat. Read the super chat, Susanna, first.
Okay, from our celebrity Haras. Hey, go support him on Patreon, you guys. You can join me in being a patron. So Pakistani Mulhid says, thank you for the $8 Australian. When is the next picture going up on Twitter? Well, we have been looking at a couple of drafts.
Yes.
We've been giving feedback. It's looking good. So
well, no, the first ones I'm not happy with. I'm rating them pure.
The process is
the process. Good. Yes.
So yeah, we have things in the works, but I think we gotta be a little bit of a tease and hold back on letting people know when.
No, but he's saying when. I think I think in a week, but it's being designed right now, and I'm designers are submitting their designs. I'm looking at some of the drafts right now. I rated most of them 1 or 2 stars. I just rated right now one of them 3 stars. So we'll see how it. Yeah, okay, but I'm just trying to tell them which direction to go ahead. But it's good. It's in the process of being designed. Okay, but thank you so much. Harry Sultan can't wait. Harry Sultan is constantly messaging me where is it? I promise it will be soon. Okay. Now it's in the process, coming out soon. Okay, and we're gonna have every single month we're gonna have a new art. Every single month we're gonna have a new art. Okay. But Arjun, you wanted to say something, and this has to be the last word because we've already been over 2 hours. Oh. After Arjun, Susanna, and then we got another super. Guys, stop sending us super chat. Why we got $6 Australian super chat?
Has the last word.
Okay, can't wait. Thank you so much, Harry Sultan, for the super chat. But no more super chats. Okay, Arjun, go on. And then
if this is the last word, then can it be in Ram? I guess I don't know.
Okay, after Arjun, Hindu historian didn't get to speak to this much.
Right.
No, Arjun, you say what you want to say, and then Hindu historian says the last word. Go on.
Well, anyway, on Rama not being a perfect role model, this is actually a big theme in Hindu, in all of this is the biggest rivalry basically in Hinduism between Krishna the playboy and Ram the perfect moral paragon. He's also the term is Maryada Purushottam in the Sanskrit or Hindi or whatever. So this is actually a rivalry. This is between the two gods. Krishna is the playboy enjoyer god. He's the one who has 16,000 wives, 16,108 or something wives, which is really makes sense. First of all, I don't know what that means. But anyway, and then Ram is this perfect moral paragon. So this is a big rivalry in Hinduism actually between a moral god and a fun-loving god. So actually, this is a really dubious point to say Ram is not a moral example. He's it's a big thing in Hinduism that he's a moral example.
Okay, let's Hindu history.
Because I'm not from the Vaishnava tradition, so I'm not aware of. So I wasn't really well aware of the avatars of Vishnu and what they stood for. Other than I knew what they were, I knew the basic details. But okay, as far as that goes, all right. You know what? I am gonna have a closer look at that Sita story about that Sita chastity stuff in the Ramayana at the end and see if there's any response I can come up with for that. Right now, I don't know enough about it. That's right.
Okay, so
yeah, role models. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Still.
All right. We could go into that deeper later. That's what she said. We got last super chat, $2 super chat from Chicken Jar saying "Sim for Armin." Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Say hashtag Sim for Armin. Yes, finally, I'm starting to build my army as well. $2 super chat, and we're gonna end that, guys. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell and like and comment. And by the way, once these live streams are over, there's a Hindutva mob that are coming out and flooding our comment section. If somebody could help me admin and clean up not the live chat, the comment that comes after, it just gets flooded with Hindutva copy pasting stuff that makes the comment section unusable. So if anybody wants to help with that, let me know. But yeah. Again, huh?
You should talk to Suha about that.
But Suha already does so much. I don't know if I could ask her for more, but yeah.
Okay. Have you gotten any massive dislike bombs AP got on his Quran video?
Yes. Yes, we get dislikes.
On the same order of magnitude, I'm saying.
I don't know. That bad. No, not that bad. Yeah, but one last thing. Thank you so much to Arjun and Hindu Historian for coming here and talking to us. Enjoyed very much listening to your perspective. Especially, it became more enjoyable given that you had different perspectives. So it made so we got multiple. I understand that some people are going to no, that's not real, guys. In India, you're going to be able to get a billion different perspectives on this, right? Because there's, so don't be no, this is right, this is wrong. No, there's no mainstream Hinduism. So we could just listen to people's yeah. Susanna, you say last one.
I wanted to thank you, both of you, myself, for joining us. I thought this was really interesting. And I also wanted to encourage people to comment with what you think we should talk about next, because one bit of criticism that we received is that if you're going to come for Hinduism, you should come for it critically and rationally. And I think that's a good...
Can I do that?
No.
Deconstruct it further.
No.
There's a lot to cover. That's not necessary.
That's
but
not
I think
necessary.
it's not necessary, but I think it's worthwhile, and I'm interested in doing that. So one top teaser for topics, I think we should get into casteism, and I also wanted to talk about atheism in Hinduism and apostasy.
No, atheism in India.
Well,
okay,
but that's part of the conversation, Armin, and that's why I wanted to have it, because it's that conversation. So teaser for those topics, and let us know what else we should get into, because now
and we can do both. People say so when people say, like, if you're coming for Hinduism, comment at it intellectually and by the way, we have, if you go look at our archive videos, like if you go look at the videos, we have like videos talking about Hinduism with Hindus on Atheist Republic going years back. So people are like, why don't you do this? Like, yeah, we have, and we're going to continue doing it more. But here's the thing, it's not an either or. We could like make cartoons of your goddesses and talk about Hinduism in more critical way at the same time, okay? And talk, so we could go into details, and sometimes we could just have fun. One of them does not contradict the other one. But yes, should we end this here? Unless anybody know? Okay, I'm gonna go. Anyway, thank you guys.
We love everyone who's watching, but only the people who are subscribed.
Yes. If you're not subscribed, we do not love you. We do not love you. You don't have to support us financially for us to love you. We love you extra if you do, but you don't have to. But we only love the people who are. So we're not gonna say bye, guys. Love you all. No, none of that. Only love the people who are either subscribed to our YouTube channel or they're following us on Twitch. The rest of you, screw yourselves. But anyways, you could change. It's really literally takes like half a second for you to hit the subscribe button. Okay. Anyways, I'm not gonna yell at you guys because we have guests here. It's not polite when we do that when we have guests, but I'll do that next time. All right. Bye, guys.
See. Bye.
Bye. You guys stay.
Yep.